should start now. People have started joining in, and yes, yes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are delighted to host this conversation in partnership with Growth, Investment, and Development at a time when sustainability, ESG, and net zero are becoming increasingly important across Oman. Before we begin this webinar, we'll have a few quick housekeeping points for everyone to keep in mind. This session will run approximately for 1 hour. If you have any questions for our speakers, please add them in the Q&A box specifically. And at any point of time you feel you want to ask anything, you can just write it in the box. We'll have a dedicated section towards the end just to answer all those queries. And please feel free to ask at any point of time. Just to add one more point, this session will be recorded and the recordings will be shared with all the registered participants after the webinar. Now, I'll quickly introduce to our speakers today. We are pleased to join by Mr. Mohammad Al-Kindi, an architect and sustainability professional with strong expertise in energy efficiency, decarbonization, and a sustainable built environments. He has led and executed projects across LEED certification, energy audits, accessibility audits, and building information modeling. He has been helping organizations translate sustainability goals into measurable outcomes across the built environment. He is a lead aggregated professional, holds multiple certifications in sustainability and solar PV. Most importantly, for today's conversation, Mohammed currently serves as a project management lead for the Greater Muscat Decar plant at the Oman Net Zero Center, where he is leading the development of data-driven pathway towards net zero emissions. His work sits at an intersection of national climate ambition, technical feasibility, and practical execution, which makes his perspective especially valuable for today's discussion. We are also joined by Arushi Dhaya, CEO of Oren and executive partner at Growth Investment and Development. Arushi has worked closely with organizations across India, GCC, Southeast Asia, and especially on ESG strategies, emission management, and sustainability reporting. She has been working from a long period of time on building audit-ready disclosure systems. Her focus specifically on helping companies move from fragmented sustainability efforts to a structured data-led execution. Today's discussion will focus on how organizations in Oman can move from awareness to action. We will explore all the sustainability trends shaping the business landscape at this point of time, the role of energy efficiency, the companies can prepare, and how companies can prepare for a stronger ESG and disclosure expectations. With that, let's begin the conversation. Over to you, Mr. Mohammed.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Very pleasure to be here with you, the Growth Investment and Oren. Thanks for the invitation. Again, we've been waiting for the session for a long time now. Last time we've been arranging for it, but some circumstances happens during the time we tried to organize before. So thanks for being patient with me. Special thanks for you, Growth Investment and Oren, Arushi. Thank you very much for the invitation. And we are here in Oman Net Zero Center. Of course, we are always welcoming any kind of session that we can give some input on it, of course, about the energy efficiency and decarbonization. According to as per the introduction, I am here also mainly doing the decarbonization for Greater Muscat now, but before that I've been involved in all the energy efficiency project. So that's my key strength, and this presentation is mainly focused on energy efficiency. I would love to talk about more about Greater Muscat, but maybe not today, maybe other time, because still we are doing the benchmarking, the baseline for the decarbonization for all the sectors. So here the most focus will be in the energy efficiency. And of course, I'm ready to do another session in future about talking about special about Greater Muscat and decarbonization plan and what's really happening, what is the targets will be, and so on, 2040 and so on. So I will begin with the message from His Majesty. So, of course, when we talk about sustainability, the establishment of Oman Net Zero Center reflects how serious is the country for the commitment to net zero 2050. It's really important because sometimes, or most of the time, sustainability initiatives often fail when they remain fragmented between individual entities. So I think not having a national transition needs coordination, data governance, finance, and clear accountability, and that's why we are here. So I don't know if you know, before this center is called Sustainability Center, but now it's already been changed to Oman Net Zero Center since last year. I mean, 2 years back. By talking about the mandates of the center, so of course, that's the main mandates of the center. In the center, we are really having now 3 different departments. So special department is for energy efficiency, and another department is for net zero excellence. The third department is for the carbon market and carbon certificate. So this is in conclusion about what we are really doing in the center. It's also important to mention that the strategy, the net zero strategy, has already been approved by the cabinet last February or March. So we are really in a good track to implement the roadmap now and the thing that been already stated in the strategy. Maybe it will be also good to give an hints about the strategy, but maybe not today. It will take a little more time. Inshallah, if we coordinate for the next session, it's also good to highlight about the strategy. Anyway, talking about energy efficiency. So I've been involved mainly in the Batch 2 project, which include many government buildings. So here in Oman Net Zero Center, we are our mandate is only for now focusing in the government building. So we are not doing industrial, we are not doing any private building. So we are focusing in reduce or make more make the government building more efficient. So by talking about energy efficiency, it doesn't mean that we are reducing comfort or reducing production or asking people to work in dark or warm space. No, it's not like that. It's more about achieving same output using better systems, control, design, maintenance, and operational practice. So maybe here it's this slide is concluding what I'm trying to say. Moving to the Super ESCO model, the center is acting as Super ESCO. Just to give you a brief about what Super ESCO is meaning. Super ESCO is basically the entity that organize organize the work of the ESCO companies. So ESCO is a shortcut for energy service companies. Normally what's happening, this kind of business is run through the Super ESCO, which leading and give the governance of all the sector. Then they raise RFP or raise tender for bringing this building into more efficiently. It will be more clear when I talk about batch 1, for example, a project. But before that, before going to the batch 1, it's really very important to explain the difference between guaranteed saving model and shared saving model here in the slide. So the difference between guaranteed saving model and shared saving model. Guaranteed saving model is normally the client who himself is funding the change in the building. So when we are going and we are visiting the building and we are inspecting the building, and we see what is really need to be changed in the building itself. It's funded by the client himself. So client at the end, he benefit from reducing the bill and so on. In the shared saving is slightly different. So in shared saving, it's more about like the ESCOM company, they bring the fund, and then they have the contract between them and the client, how to benefit from the reduction of the energy bill. So in our, for example, batch one, we use the guaranteed saving, not the shared, but also shared saving. Maybe it's open for discussion now for more projects in future, inshallah. I just want to highlight that energy efficiency projects are not only technical projects, they are really commercial agreement. So when we are talking about the difference between these two models, this is what we are talking about. It's about who is funding this kind of project. So as I explained, guaranteed saving, the client pays for the upgrade and the ESCO guarantees the performance, while where the ESCO, shared saving, ESCO finance the upgrade and earns back investment from the actual saving. Here are some numbers about what been, alhamdulillah, achieved in batch one project. So in batch one project, we already, it's now still under implementation. It's been done for more than 60 gigawatt hour group of building, 13 building in Sultan Qaboos University and 1 building in Royal Court Affairs. So the investment is 1.8 million Omani Riyal, and expecting saving is 400K annually. And it will reduce 7.45 kiloton carbon dioxide annually. So this is basic number of batch one. It's really important to go through the Oman building code because and talk about it, because I think Oman building code will play a very big role in near future, changing the way how the building is being designed and implemented and so on. Oman building code is now for the energy efficiency sector. It's under Oman Net Zero Center to plan to prepare the implementation plan for it. So now we are really studying when to be when to have this building code implemented, and what to be enforced, when to be incentivized, and so on. So as I just mentioned, Oman building code is a key mechanism for avoiding inefficient new building. It's very important to talk about also new design, not only about existing building. So existing building retrofitting is important, but it is always better not to create inefficient building in the first place. So the framework of the Oman code, building code, is talking about what you are talking about, energy, sustainability part of it, of Oman building code, is talking about two main things, which is energy efficiency and sustainability. So when we talk about energy efficiency, we are talking more about commercial and residential. When we talk about sustainability, it's more about adding the other thing that really not in the energy efficiency, like water and air quality. It's really important to explain about the perspective and performance in the building code. Here we have two main things. So when we talk about perspective approach, we directly can follow the code stable and minimum requirement directly. So no need to do any simulation or do anything. So basically it says do one thing, do this, and you implement it. And it is requesting you to do the minimal. So this is the perspective. In performance, it's slightly different. It's different, totally different. So it's more about calculation, energy simulation, and then compare the proposed design against baseline building. So in this case, you have more flexibility to change, uh, especially when it comes to the complex building. For example, if the perspective approach asks me uh, to have only 30% glazing on the facade, for example, I'm talking, in the performance, maybe we can uh, prove that having more percentage is not really affecting the cooling load or whatever, because we are using new technology and so on. So here is the main difference between the two approaches. It's really important to mention about the Duqm climate zone. Here I'm talking Duqm as an example, but in the climate zone of Oman, in the building code, it's classified into the four zones, as it's really appears in the screen right now. I've been before I've been invited in Duqm, so I had a discussion with them about their climate zone. So I am taking Duqm here as an example for the what been really, I mean, done through it. So here, as it's clear, Duqm is located in zone 1, hot humid, and not only Duqm, of course, many cities includes in this kind of classification. Here we are talking about some technical numbers for the building code. So we are talking about the wall requirements, zone 1. It's giving some numbers. So U factor is 0.85. So of course when we are talking about the building envelope, it's more related to the consumption of energy and cooling load. So the main focus here is about having less cost operationally building. And when we talk about metal frame wall, number is slightly different, because normal steel frame يعني having big conductivity, so the numbers is slightly more. And insulation R is 2.25 as a cavity, and continuous insulation need to be done in the envelope. Talking about fenestration and solar heat gain, we are talking mainly here about the glazing area. So as I mentioned earlier, 30% of the gross above ground grade wall area is only allowed, and the maximum SHGC is to be only 0.23 to 0.25 based on shading. So when we are talking about solar heat gain, mostly in buildings in Oman, I've been even in my work in batch 2 inspection of the building, some buildings are still using, for example, single glazed in windows and so on. So this kind of rules, the new rules in the Oman building code will change all of these numbers. Yeah, so here also about talking about the HVAC calculation and efficiency. Without going too much in deep about it, but there are some new restriction being added to the HVAC. Here more about talking about logistic and warehouse focus, demand control, ventilation, mandatory for space more than 46 square meter within 15 plus people per 93 square meter. This is talking about having demand control ventilation, which is not only a fixed ventilation system. So many things is really going to be changed and while implementing the new sustainability Oman building code. Lighting power also, there are some more restriction about it. So we are talking about more about watt per square meter. So maximum you need to have is about 5 watt per square meter. And also the workshop need to have 13.5 watt per square meter. And now it's also become mandatory to have lighting control. So previously, as you know, this kind of stuff is not really there in the building in Oman. So you may always see that lights sometimes missed, left open even in daytime. So by having this kind lighting control, smart control, will reduce such a thing. And here's also very big change is to have mandatory renewable energy. Of course, this is not yet enforced. It's going to have a slight impact to the initial capex of any project. But again, it's they are not requesting many production of renewable energy in the site. But now it becomes mandatory to have it. So once this is the building code has become mandatory, it will request, it will mandate, any kind of, renewable energy on site to be generated. Talking about water efficiency, before in Oman, we really don't have such a regulation about water efficiency and so on. So you may see that most of the water fixtures having having high flow rate. Now it's more like mandated and regulated. Also, as you see the number, so toilets max have 4.8 liter per flush, and urinals have maximum 1.9 liter. This kind of number, we even before when we used to do energy audit for the building, we normally refer to international standard. We use not to have such a code before. So now everything is really mandated and organized by the building code. Here also it's talking about industrial process water monitoring. Monitoring before is not there in any kind of project. So now it's becoming a mandate to have, monitoring and to reuse such kind of, not to reuse, of course, it's by monitor at least, and then to keep monitoring the performance of the water and then regulate it during the time. Indoor air quality, this is something good to have in the new building code in Oman. Before, I've been seeing many codes ignoring such a thing, but indoor air quality is really something good to have in the building code. So we are talking about some requirement to be added in the building and to be kept in mind while designing. So sometimes we've been involved in, for example, I've been working for one of the lead project previously, and we have like carbon dioxide monitoring for all the classroom for that school. It was a school project. So this kind of thing, now it become more mandate, more enforced in the building code rather than having it to be approached by having lead certificate building only. Here in this slide, I'm going to talk about what findings I been noticed during my visit in batch 2 project. I've been inspecting more than 40 buildings approximately, and there were very common issues in the buildings. Of course, when we are talking about chillers, most of the chillers are really old. When we talk about buildings being already built in 1918, for example, some chillers are 40 years old and some being already 20 years old. I've been also visiting many buildings that the light is still fluorescent lighting being implemented and not being changed. Of course, when we talk about fluorescent light, we are talking about consumption, because fluorescent lights normally gives you 18 watt per hour, while having LED reduces that number to half. BMS in most of the building that I've been inspected is either not active or either not the people the facility members they are not really aware how to use it, how to get benefit out of it. This is also one of the common issues. Submetering is not there, for example, for either for water use or electricity. Most of the building they don't have submetering. Occupancy sensor is really been very rare that I see occupancy sensor, except for the new buildings I've been visited. And also, as I mentioned before, weak envelope in some few buildings also. So when we are talking about weak envelope, I mean in particular that there are no insulation in the wall, not double gaze, and sometimes aluminum framing being utilized in the windows. It's good to highlight about and give you some numbers about lead in Oman. So there are, I think, more than 22 projects certified in Oman in different levels. So we have, I think, 2 building platinum certified, and we have few gold and mainly silver. We have also certified building, and I think also we are having more than 55 building registered. So why I'm talking about lead in the slide, because I'm doing now the Greater Muscat decarbonisation plan, and I can see the future target of what's really been written there as target. So, for example, when we talk about Sultan Haytham city, it's already mentioned that it's already there that when we met with them, that they are really focused in that direction of having lead even platinum buildings for the government building. It's there, and also gold and some few gold and mostly platinum, of course. Talking about ESG in Oman, so of course I think ESG is sometimes misunderstood as a reporting exercise. It's in reality, it is about how company manages the environment, social, and governance risk opportunities. So for many companies, the first practical ESG step is understanding the energy use, carbon emission, and opportunities to reduce, of course, both of that. Now, when we are talking about Oman Net Zero Center, we also in connection with the international funding agency and banks. So we noticed that many international client investors, they are asking about ESG information for any kind of investment. So it's something really changing now in Oman. Previously, it wasn't really that much requesting it. It's already moved from nice to have to something really mandatory to be there. So I think this is the last slide I am having in the presentation. Uh, Now it's time to see if there's any question being raised. So I am ready here to answer it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Kindi. This was incredible. Thank you so much for walking us through that incredible presentations. I
Thank you.
actually have a couple of questions in my personal chat that the audience have sent across. However, if anyone has any further questions, feel free to send it to me, or you can put it in the chat, and we'll definitely pick it up as we go. So, the first question is that. Today, Oman, I believe you mentioned that you have inspected about 40 plus buildings at this time, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Today, when you work across different sectors, which sector do you think is the most sustainable from their built environment perspective today?
Mhm. Mhm. So as I mentioned when I was talking about the mandates of Amman Nazir Center, we are really our obligation is about government building. So when I say 40 buildings, I mentioned that it's for 40 buildings, all governmental buildings.
All government, okay.
So this is the sector that we are focusing in. But if as the subsector, uh, I see, for example, Sultan Qaboos University building are really very good built, although they are really old buildings, but really well designed and well implemented. While some ministries is really a little bit old, and it's either old or sometimes some also other ministries they have no clue how to deal with the BMS and so on, or the BMS is not
Hmm.
upgraded. So this kind of segmentation I can give you.
Got it. And a quick follow-up to that, that you
Mm.
mentioned that certain buildings are very old buildings, right? So
Yeah,
what are certain low-hanging fruits for these buildings to take up?
yeah.
And this can be low-hanging from a cost perspective, from a effort perspective, for them to start moving towards being a little more sustainable.
As really very good question. Thank you for the question. Uh, Maybe I mentioned in the presentation that when we talk about old buildings, first thing we inspect is the chillers and the cooling.
Hmm.
So we really see all the chairs being already installed and 40 years old and sometimes 20 years old. So as a benchmark, we are giving if the chiller is 10 years old, sometimes it gives us a hint that this chiller need to be changed. So we put it as a plan to change the chiller. Other thing is the lighting control. Most of the building, including also educational building, they really have still fluorescent lighting in their building. So they are keep using fluorescent lighting for now, been long time. Changing that to LED is going to reduce the utility bill a lot. BMS sometimes is not implemented, not activated, not upgraded. Also, it plays a very big role in terms of reducing the electricity bill. So this is the main three things that I can recall for now. But sometimes also it's not related actually to the things that it is in the building. It's about the behavioral. So when we talk about, for example, some building because it is seasonally being active and sometimes in some other seasons they are not really active. Like when you talk about the hostels, for example, for the student in the SKU. Here, it's more about having it operational and not really about the thing that relates to asset itself. But how to control that behavioral is also about something, adding some controls like smart control, BMS, and so on. So these kind of things are being faced in the batch 2 inspection.
Got it. And today, I think something we see a lot as well, no? The BMS system, right?
Yeah.
There are very few buildings, limited buildings today that actually have a robust, fully functional BMS system. How do
Mm.
you go about how do you go about managing data, looking at the efficiency of that building when the BMS system is lacking?
Sorry, again, I didn't get your question.
What I'm curious about is that how do you go about, you know,
Mm.
managing your project, tracking efficiency metrics and certain other sustainability metrics of the building when the BMS is lacking, when the building does not have a management system at all?
Okay. I hope I get your question right. But when we inspect the building, we inspect many things. So we inspect the chillers, we inspect the lighting, and so on. And BMS is one of the
Yeah.
things that we are inspecting. So, for example, when you see the BMS is not active or have limited control to the cooling, we directly put that as a recommendation for the something we call it conservation measures to change the BMS or to upgrade the BMS. And then when we raise the tender, we mention that this information that BMS is not active or having limited control. So when the ESCO company later on also come to inspect the second time the building, they have the more tools to inspect exactly what is the issue, and they came up with the actual cost of solving such issue. So this is how basically it goes during the inspection. I hope I am answering your question.
Yeah, makes complete sense. Makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Perfect. And today I think what I'm very curious about is that right now you are quite deep into the ecosystem of built environment, sustainability around the built environment. What's your journey been like? Like how did you land up here? What got you started looking at sustainability as a career choice? Because I think, yeah, see, when we have registrations coming on, people really care about sustainability as a career, right? I think lots of people tend to look at ESG as a first point of entry, but we do know for a point that there are lots of opportunities across lead as well, built environment, just execution of sustainability projects as well. So it'd be amazing if you could tell us a little bit about your own journey as well.
Okay. Again, yeah, it's really good to mention that as one of the results in doing the strategy of Amman Net Zero Center, we are expecting to that this sector about having net zero sector itself
Mm.
is going to create around 12,000 permanent job we are talking about. So this is just about talking about the jobs and so on. I think you are here. You want to hear from me my personal journey and how I
Personal
become.
journey, yes, personal
Okay.
journey.
So yeah. So basically, I studied architecture engineering basically, and uh, during the study, I have really big interest in sustainability. And then when it comes to the final year project, I designed some sustainable neighborhood, and that was already now 16 years back. So we are talking about 2010, 2009, that time. And then, alhamdulillah, I became lead green associate directly at 2012. Then I used to work during this job and this kind of sustainability and so on. At 2015, I start my company, which called Sustainable Concept, also also doing the same thing until 2020, of course. And 2018, there was also a big move because I got lead AB at that time. And during that time until today, I've been also getting more like certificate in solar energy and many others. And I've been also now working sometimes as external consultant for some agency and some companies in this kind of job. And last year, I joined Oman Zero Center as energy efficiency lead. And then Ministry of Housing, they request Oman Zero Center to do the decarbonisation plan for the Greater Muscat Master Plan, of course. And then I've been requested to handle this project, and now I have my own team for this project. So that's a quick move to my work life.
That is amazing. That is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank
I
you.
think with that, I will also pick up some more questions from the chat. So Razan here asks us that as this initiative is part of the government's energy efficiency program, are the final outcomes publicly disclosed or are they intended for internal use only?
No, as I mentioned, that we are expecting some numbers from the batch one, for example. So it will be, of course, published publicly. Yeah, so this is for initial number of batch one, what we are expecting. And this is not only something that we do it, like only assumption. Of course, there's a very big and deep calculation being done. So I hope my presentation is still showing. So this is numbers
Yeah, we can
especially
see
for
it.
the batch one project. And of course, in batch two, because we are targeting 100 gigawatt instead of 60, the numbers will become more.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Razan, we hope that answers your question. Meera has a question. How can SMEs based in Oman become part of this initiative? Is there a framework or a process for
Okay.
identifying gaps where local SMEs can contribute by providing either products or services that help the
Mm.
government achieve their sustainability targets?
That's a really very good question. When we talk about ESCO company, so we are talking about something not really very well known in Oman. I hope myself, Sarah, to see SMEs working in such a thing during the coming years. But of course, we are talking about ESCO means the company. They install devices, they replace lights, and they guaranteed that lights and that chillers, whatever they are changing in the building, runs to maximum like 15 years and achieving certain performance. So it's not something really easy, but I do believe that we are really need to have many companies working in such a thing, especially that sometimes we've been requesting to deal with some sensitive buildings, which is not allowed for foreign companies to be part of it for the sensitivity of those buildings, of course. Also, there's something that we are working on in now. We are giving a classification for the ISCO company. So we are working in the having this kind of classification, and then we'll give like grade A, B, C for each company. They are registered under energy efficiency in Oman. So according to certain criteria, we are giving it a grade A, B, or C. And those they have grade A, they only be eligible to participate in bids that we are raising in class A bids, and B also on B, C only on C. So this kind of organizing, it's there, and we are working on it, and hope to be announced soon, inshallah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And One more question for you, and perhaps I can also support you in answering this question. Vishal asks that, is there any MRV system made by the authorities where companies can report their emissions today?
Again, the question, please.
Are there any MRV, measurement reporting verification systems
Yeah.
made by the authorities where companies can report their emissions?
To be honest, I don't have the direct information about this.
Yeah.
But very interesting question. What I have about I'm an measurement and verification, for example, we are doing it for ISCO project. Of course, after getting all the devices and energy conservation measures being implemented, we will be hiring a measurement and verification entity, third party, to verify what's been implemented in the building.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Um, I think adding to that, right, bases, and I think you are an absolute expert when it comes to energy efficiency, built environment, etc. Right? For us, this is our space, right? Like MRV is our bread and butter. So what we know when it comes to solutions like this by the government, I believe the Environment Authority has something called Manak, the platform,
Yeah,
and there's
Manakh
also
platform, yes.
yeah, the Manak platform and the Mizan platform as well. Both of
Mizan is
these
under
are
us.
utilized. Yes, Mizan is under you.
Mizan under
Yes.
Oman Net
Could you
Zero
tell us
Center,
a
yeah.
little bit more about Mizan as well?
Yeah, Mizan actually is a platform that, yeah, it's good to talk about it. I have
Yeah.
less information, but I hope that I deliver. Basically, when we have companies that they want to report about the emission, they are now mandated to use the Mizan platform. So we have all the oil and gas companies, for example, being already registered in Mizan. It's also a tool for us to sometimes we are using it to forecast, for example, the emission for any sector and so on. So it's a really helpful platform. We are really proud of having Mizan in our under us, under Oman Net Zero Center. And it is the only and official platform to register any project about decarbonization.
Got it.
And about Manakh, I really have no information as it is not under Oman Net Zero Center.
Got it. Noted. Perfect.
Yeah.
I believe that is it. We exhausted and finished up and covered all the possible questions that we did get. Thank you so much, Mr. Al-Kindi. This was an absolute pleasure to speak with you and learn so much about what's happening at the Net Zero Center, what's happening on ground in Oman, and yeah, we all learned a ton.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much. I think before we go, yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I didn't mean to cut you. Yes,
yeah,
please continue.
as probably I mentioned twice in the presentation, maybe there are another topic maybe we can cover, not necessarily by me, but I have, mashallah, many experts in the center as well. So inshallah, we are here to help and assist on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. We actually constantly keep taking feedback from the participants and just folks in our network to learn about what kind of topics they would like us to cover. Um, just before we head out, folks, I'd love to even introduce us as Oren as well. We're an ESG solutions company, anything end to end. We have an AI-based tech platform called Oren Sustainability Hub, where we build that MRV layer per se, emissions accounting, any kind of sustainability reporting, value chain emissions, value chain sustainability, the whole lot. And we also offer a whole lot of services around EcoVadis, score improvements, CDP score improvements, value chain, climate risk, etc. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much for your absolutely amazing questions. And yeah, we'd definitely reach out to you again if and when we do another such conversation with someone like Mr. Al-Kindi.
Yes, and thank you so much, everyone. If you feel there are any other topics that we can cover in our next series of webinars, please write to us, and we'll try to cover as many as topics that you would like to listen about. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining in today.